What's up, everyone? A while ago, I posted on my Instagram story that I was gonna do a Ask Me Anything, a Q&A on my YouTube channel. I've been kind of slow, but I thought today was the perfect day to answer some of the questions that you guys asked. I was just gonna go through some of them, and hopefully I can answer, and hopefully you get a little bit wiser about some of the things you asked. Just remember, these are my opinions. If I'm proven wrong by somebody, so be it. Since you came to me and asked me, I'll answer to the best of my ability. So the first question I got is, how long have you been training, and what got you into martial arts? I started training karate when I was 8 years old, and today I'm 27. So quick math, that's 19 years of martial arts training. Of course, I don't do karate today. Nowadays, I'm mainly focused on MMA. However, I still use my karate background. It plays a big role in my fighting, in my techniques, and I still carry it with me, of course. But today, I focus only on MMA and some boxing. And what got me into martial arts is mainly, to be honest, it's when I was a kid, I was a big fan of like Ninja Turtles. Dragon Ball Z played a huge part in that, and just fighting in general, like Bruce Lee movies, Jackie Chan, and even Jet Li and Jean Claude Van Damme and all that stuff. I used to love that stuff when I was a kid. I mean, I wasn't I wasn't that interested in football or soccer for the U.S. followers. That was never my thing. Not even like I hardly even played football. It's huge in Sweden. Like all of the kids were doing that stuff during the recess in school, while I was play fighting. I was play fighting with my friends and wrestling and doing stuff like that. That was it was my first like I caught an eye for it very early, and bullies. To be honest, I was bullied as a kid. Us being the only immigrant family in the place where I live, we got picked on, but I got picked on a lot. I was insecure, I was a little kid and with a immigrant name, immigrant parents. We were not like everyone else. I didn't really think that I had a choice. I wanted to be able to defend myself against these bullies, and karate for me was just like we had a good dojo close to us, and my dad pushed me into it because he was a boxer when he was younger, living in Bosnia. So it came naturally for me. Um, yeah, that got me into martial arts. Dragon Ball Z, Ninja Turtles, Bruce Lee, and bullies. The next question I got was, what are the best stretching exercises for kicking? I mean, I would say that the best stretching exercises for kicking are the basic stretches, like the basic hamstring stretches and working on the splits and stuff like that. But I mean, this if you're stiff, you're gonna have a hard time kicking. You need to get your mobility up, and you need to work on, like, when you throw a kick, if you feel a strain somewhere, that is the area that you have to stretch. And the best way to get flexible, if you ask me, is just do all of the basic stretches and stay consistent with it, because you can't just be hyper focused for 2 months with it, and then you're never finished. Like, you have to keep on stretching. It's like anything else. It's something that you have to work on consistently, and you can't just abandon it once you feel like you're done, because um, I did that once. I felt like, oh, I've been stretching for a while now. I don't have to stretch anymore. And I was wrong. I got stiff. My range of motion got worse. I didn't feel like I had the same fluidity in my kicks and in my techniques. And when I was moving around, I didn't feel as free. So I just started doing the basic stretches again, like anything your coach shows you, or if you look it up on YouTube. There's a bunch of different guides. I'm gonna post a video myself of the stretching routine I do and my favorite stretches, but just stick to the basics for now. Like the stretches do those, and do those after every training. Trust me, it's gonna improve your flexibility and it might even improve your recovery after working out. Okay, guys. The next question I got is, how can I control my distance? Um, I reckon you mean when you're sparring or when you're fighting. And I would say the first thing that you need if you want to control range and distance in fighting is footwork. You don't want to be flat on your feet. You don't want to have your feet planted on the mat and being stuck to the ground. You want to be light on your feet, and you want to be able to move back and forth, to pivot, to circle, and just do the just do the basic footwork drills and work on establishing a jab. The jab is very underrated. It feels like such a cliche to say that, but it is. It's a great way to establish your range and to know where your opponent is. If you can touch him with your jab, you most likely can connect with any shot from there. Use your jab as a rangefinder and keep light on your feet. So when someone rushes against you, you can circle or move back and maintain the distance. Um, Also, check out my video on footwork. I break down the basics, and it's a great way to start. And another good thing you can do is just use the heavy bag and move around it. Don't stay stationary in front of the heavy bag when it swings. If you kick the bag, it's gonna swing away from you, then it's gonna come back. And then when it comes back, you try to maintain the distance from the bag. That is a good way, in my opinion, to work on distance control. Try to keep the same distance with the bag at all times, and then when you spar, you're gonna feel like you worked on it without even doing it in sparring. The next question is, I snatch a lot, but my joints hurt after. How do I stop this? I don't do a lot of Olympic lifting. I'm not an expert, but I would say if your joints hurt, there must be, there may be something wrong with your technique. I would say have someone that's really good, maybe a coach or a personal trainer, look at your technique and try to correct that. Um, if your technique is okay, maybe you should drop the weights. Maybe you have too much weight on the bar. I don't know really what makes this happen, but I'd say it's either the technique or maybe the weight you're using is too high for you right now. Uh, try try to look at this, figure out which one it is. Have a talk with a coach or a personal trainer, as I said, and you should take care of your joints, man. And when they hurt, try some anti-inflammatories and give it a rest. You don't want to put too much stress on your joints because you need them, you know. How many push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and pull-ups should I do the next 10 days? Hashtag Saitama. There's a nice little anime reference there. You should do all of them. Quick answer. Easy. No, but I would say do 50 of each. 50 pull-ups might be a bit hard for most people. It would be for me. Um, if you're doing it every day, just do 10 or 20 and just stay consistent with it. If you do 10 or 20 push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and pull-ups a day, in 5 days you've done 100 if you do 20. And that's pretty good for a week. That's more than what most people would do. So I don't know if you were serious with this question, but I mean, you could do that. It's realistic. Favorite heavy bag drill. Favorite heavy bag drill. It's hard to say, really. I don't really drill that much on the heavy bag. I mean, I don't consider it drilling. My favorite thing to do on a heavy bag is if I want to work on something. Well, it is drilling now that I think of it. if I choose, like, if I make up my mind, I want to improve my jab, or I want to work on my 1 2 3 combination, I like to set aside at least 2 or 3 rounds when I work the bag and just focus on the technical aspect of what it is that I want to improve. Um, do it at the end of the workout or at the beginning as a warm up, and just focus on the technical aspect of it. Like, for example, I got obsessed with the pull counter, the pull right hand, that Conor McGregor uses. He does the left hand, of course, and even Floyd Mayweather and a lot of other boxers. I got obsessed with it. So one thing that I did was I used to set aside at least 2 or 3 rounds every time I worked the bag to just repeat and drill the pull right hand. It can be if you want to improve your low kicks, that's a you can do that as well. The same concept applies. Like, set aside a couple of rounds to work on what you want to do. That is my favorite drill. Like, the thing that I feel like I want to improve and focus on at the moment. Make sure you get like 2 or 3 rounds in, technical rounds. Don't worry about doing it hard or fast, or just get the mechanics in, get the technique in, and yeah, that's my favorite heavy bag drill. Just obsessing over a technique and repeating it over and over and over again. Nutritional tips before kickboxing, and what about running and body weight training? Nutritional tips before kickboxing, and a sample meal. What would I eat? Before working out, I like to take some Greek yogurt. Um, I take some Greek yogurt uh, because of the protein in it. I take a half a banana to get the carbs, and maybe 2 or 3 teaspoons of peanut butter, and put it on as topping, and then you get the fats. So that is a typical pre-workout meal for me if I'm doing MMA or boxing or wrestling or something. You get the proteins, you get the fats, and you get the carbs. The three sources of fuel, and for me, at least, that's a perfect pre-workout meal. I've tried a bunch of different things, but I feel really good and energized when I get that. And then, of course, 30 minutes before a workout, I take a pre-workout shot, some caffeine, some beta alanine, maybe even some creatine, and then I'm good to go. Hard session, and water. Drink water. If you know you're gonna work out in the evening, drink a lot of water. If I go running, I do my running in the morning, and if I'm gonna go run, I don't eat before. I just have a pre-workout shot, or get some caffeine in there, some green tea or whatever, just to wake up. I like to do it early in the morning, and just go run. Or it's the same with body weight exercise. If I'm going to, like, the outdoor gyms or something, if I'm gonna do pull-ups and dips and stuff like that, I don't want to have a full stomach. I don't really need it. Um, so no pre-workout meal when running and doing body weight stuff. And for kickboxing or MMA or boxing, uh, try that. Try some Greek yogurt, banana, and some peanut butter. It's rocket fuel for me, and water. Don't forget the water. Favorite martial art. What is my favorite martial art? MMA, because because you get to use all of it. Everything is included. Um, but it depends. Like, favorite martial art to watch, I'd say either MMA or boxing. I love watching boxing. High level boxing is such a beautiful chess game to me. If there's a great boxing fight on TV at the same time as a great MMA fight, I might even tune into to the boxing fight, and then watch the MMA fight after. And it depends on who's fighting, of course. But I love watching boxing. I love watching MMA. Judo, judo at the Olympics when they do the throws. I love it. It's so aesthetically pleasing to me to watch that stuff. Um, Favorite martial art to practice, MMA. My favorite martial art as a kid, karate, of course. But today in MMA, I can use my karate. Um, and my least favorite martial art to watch is BJJ, I think. I think it's I love doing it, but I don't like watching it. I don't like watching Muay Thai either, for some reason. I can't. Something about the music and the clinching. I don't know. Maybe I'm just ignorant to what's happening. The next question is, I just started boxing. Wait, I just started boxing and I'm trying to build muscle. Should I use supplements? I mean, you could. You don't have to use supplements as long as you get your diet on point. As long as you eat what you need, you get all the nutrients that your body needs. Then you can do fine without supplements. But I would say to build muscle, get the right amount of protein. I read something the other day, a study that said that you should get 1.6 grams of protein for every kilogram of body weight. So you take your body weight. Me, for example, if I'm 73 kilos, I take a calculator. I put 73 kilos. 73 multiplied with 1.6, and I think that's about 130 or something. Not sure. And then I get the right amount of protein that my body needs. So if you want to build muscle, you should get 1.6 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. And of course, the other nutrients. You should get your fats, get your carbohydrates, and all of that stuff. But as far as building muscle, protein, protein, protein. Those are the building blocks of muscle. So the next question is, have you ever been to Greece? Yeah, yeah, I have. It's a beautiful country. I have been to Greece, yes. What supplements do you use? It's a good question. Um, the basics, nothing too wild. Um, I use whey protein. Whey protein is good. I like to take that after workouts, and if I'm feeling really hungry some days, I'll take a scoop of whey protein. BCAAs, I take those. A pre-workout, mm, not a specific one. I like the first one I tried is the one I've been using ever since. I've tried a bunch of different ones, but Assault by Muscle Farm. I'm not sponsored by them, unfortunately, but it's one of my favorite pre-workouts ever. It's the one that I always come back to. I might fuck off and try another one, but then I always come back to Muscle Farm's Assault. They have one that's called, I think it's called Combat as well. That one is good. It's there's beta alanine in there, caffeine of course, and some creatine and other stuff. So pre-workout, I use that, and multivitamins and stuff like that, CBD oil, but nothing too crazy. You got to be strict with what you're taking. You can't take anything off the shelf, because if you're getting drug tested strictly, then you can't afford that. You don't want to be. I mean, you don't want to piss hot for taking a creatine supplement um, that wasn't clean. That wasn't made in a clean lab, or in the same lab as they've been mixing steroids or some shit like that, because that happens. And I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry. How many times a week do you normally do weight training, and how often do you run? 4 times a week. I have a training schedule. I weight train 4 times a week. I do strength and conditioning, and in between those sessions, I like to run like as a recovery thing. Sometimes I run hard when I want to do a hard running session. I'm not that much of a runner. I'm not good at running. I enjoy running, but I'm not really. I don't put in any miles that are worth mentioning or anything like that. If I want to kill myself, I run like 10 kilometers. But usually on recovery days or something like that, I just do a light 5 kilometer run or a jog. Um, if I'm doing strength and conditioning, then we might do hill sprints, but nothing crazy. You won't find me doing a marathon, or putting in some record breaking PRs or something like that. No, that's not me. I'm pretty slow when it comes to running, actually. But yeah, I try to run on my rest days, like before work, or if I get up in the morning and I don't feel like lifting weights that day, if I feel sore or something like that, or if I know that I'm gonna do a heavy MMA session in the evening, then I might just go for a light jog. So two 2 or 3 weeks, I mean 2 or 3 times a week. That's the maximum, I think. What's your typical breakfast? My typical breakfast. I've been eating the same thing for breakfast for the last 3 or 4 years. I've been doing the what's it called? The Dolce Diet breakfast bowl. It's the best breakfast in the world. I'm gonna make a video about this actually, a little food tip video. But essentially, what I eat every morning. Every morning, I take. What I do is I take like 1 deciliter of oats. I take about 3 teaspoons of chia seeds, and if I have hemp seeds, because those are expensive, I don't always have those lying around. If I have hemp seeds, I take like 2 teaspoons of those, throw them in, and pour some hot water on it, boil it, some frozen berries on that, and then I put some peanut butter on that, like a tablespoon. And in Sweden, we have like low sugar Nutella. It's called Proteinella. It's not a sponsor, but I really enjoy that. I take like a tablespoon of that on just to because I love chocolate, and it gets boring eating the same thing every day. So it gives me that chocolatey feeling, and when it melts, it's like a pastry. It's wonderful. So that's what I eat for breakfast every day without fail. Next question is CBD, yes or no? And in what form do you use CBD? CBD, yeah, of course. For me, I don't know. CBD is so important to me. I might share a story with you guys about CBD. Currently, I don't have any sponsors, so I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to tell you what company you should buy from or anything. But if it's a good CBD product, then yeah, hell yeah. Um, CBD helps me recover from training sessions, from injuries, post fight injuries. I had a really bad concussion once. I was out of training for 9 months after a fight. Um, it's a long story, but once I started taking CBD, I started recovering, and the headaches and the migraines started going away. And so, yeah, hell yeah, I'm CBD, yes. And in what forms do I take it? I use the oral drops, the CBD drops I put under my tongue, and you hold it there for 1 minute, and then you swallow it and flush it down with some water because it tastes really bad. And even in vape form, I put it in my vape pen, and I vape the CBD, and then you can feel it a lot faster. And yeah, so e-liquid, vape form, and the normal juice, like the oral juice. The next question is, do you take any electrolytes? No, no, I don't. Are you Muslim? Yes, yes, I am. Uh, how are your legs so big? I don't know. Are they? Shit. It must be from karate, like the stances and all of that stuff. I don't really. I can't even squat that much, so it's not from squatting. That's for sure. It must be from karate. Doing lunges and air squats. We used to do squats and sit like I don't know what it's called in English, but jägarvila in Swedish. We used to sit like that against the wall. Like you lean against the wall and you sit with your legs like 90 degrees, knees bent, and your back against the wall. And we used to sit like that for like 5 minutes, 6 minutes at the end of practice, just to burn out the legs. And we used to do a lot of lunges, a lot of lunges. Mm, our warm ups in karate used to be like 150 squats. We did like 50, rested, 50, rested again, and then the last set 50. So 50 reps 3 times. That was our warm up. to get strong legs, like to get really strong and hard legs, so that we can absorb kicks and kick back with force. Funny question. Um, what got you into this sport? Kind of answer that. Tips on how to approach training after being ill for some weeks. I would say ease into it. Don't go too hard in the beginning. Because if you've been sick, you might still be recovering from your sickness. Mm, Make sure you focus on technique when you're coming back from being sick. That's what I do, at least. Don't worry about winning. Don't worry about tapping people out. Don't worry about steamrolling people and winning and sparring and all that stuff. Just come back, focus on getting through the first sessions, because those are always the worst, and just focus on timing, technique, and just get through it. Don't push yourself too much. And if you feel like you've been sick for a while and you come back too early, because sometimes you don't know, sometimes you don't feel sick until you start training. And if you do, if your pulse rises too much, if you're having a hard time breathing, then of course stop. Okay, you don't want to, it's not worth it. Rest a couple of more days, then come back stronger. All right. How do I stay consistent? How do I stay consistent? Um, don't go too hard. Yeah, do not go too hard in the beginning. You have to, you have to, you have to be realistic, because training, even it's a marathon. It's never a sprint. It's a sprint when it comes to like competing, but mastery takes time. You know, you have to put 10,000 hours in, according to Robert Greene, who wrote the book Mastery. You have to put in 10,000 hours of work, of practice, before you can master something. And you have to, how can I explain this? To be consistent, you have to be able to do something every day. If you go all out 100% every day, then you're gonna miss out on some days, because you'll have to recover, because you'll be sore. You don't want to feel like pushing yourself some days. You don't want to feel like going all out in the gym. You feel pressure. Fuck it, I'm gonna stay home. I'm not gonna do it today. I don't feel like it. No. The way you stay consistent is you have to put it on a level like you're training. Keep it at 60%, 75% of your max. Then try to do that every day. Just start out light. Don't let your ego fool you into going 100% all the time every day, because a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people are going to feel like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. They get burned out. So don't burn yourself out. Keep it at a level that you're going to have to, that you're going to be able to commit to and keep up for a longer period of time. That is how you keep consistency. And be disciplined. Like, if you feel like resting, there's a difference between taking a day off because you're feeling sick, taking a day off because you have an injury, or just taking a day off because you're lazy. Like, going easier because you're sick or injured, then you're smart. Going easier because you're lazy, then you're fucking lazy. You're just being lazy. Don't be lazy. If you have to keep track of your thoughts and be honest with yourself. Am I being smart? Am I focusing? Am I listening to my body? Or am I listening to that inner bitch? That inner bitch voice that lives deep inside of all of us. Because if it's the inner bitch, then you gotta shut that out and just go. Discipline. Discipline is key to consistency. And the last question I have is, I'm 21. Can I start kickboxing? What do you think? Yeah, it's never too late. It is never too late. At any age. I say the same thing. I try to get my dad to start working out, and it's never too late. I would tell that to a 60-year-old man. There's no difference. Like, your age doesn't matter. You can always improve. Like, you can improve from what you are right now. You can always be better. So it's never too late. It depends on what your goal is. Maybe it's not realistic for a 40-year-old man to become the UFC heavyweight champion, but maybe it is. You know, who am I to tell? But I believe that it's never too late to learn something new. So therefore, it's never too late to start training. So for sure, man, get after it. You know, just join a gym. Don't overthink. Don't get in shape before going to the gym or anything like that. Don't give yourself excuses. Sign up and go. That's what I think. A lot of the questions were about the same thing. You know, a lot of people asked the same thing. So I tried to keep it in. I tried to answer one time, you know, each question. A lot of people were asking about stretching and strength and conditioning and supplements. I'm gonna make separate videos about those, and maybe some nutritional tips videos, like what I eat, and a how to videos and recipes and stuff like that. I'm gonna make separate videos about that, but now I was just trying to get all of those questions and answer them for you guys in this video. And if you have any more thoughts, leave it in the comment box below. My question to you guys is, what kind of videos would you want to see on this YouTube channel? Let me know. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon again. Goodbye.